Okay, good morning, everybody. Good to hear you / see you. Okay, today back to Unit 1 for Exploring Genius North Star. We're gonna focus on listening to today, as your pre-study last week was listening to, going over your textbook while watching the video. Today in our Zoom meeting, we're going to review that. Now, before we do so, I'd like to quickly take a peek at our unit schedule. Here we are. This is your unit schedule for grade 11. Now, I heard from some of you that you had a trouble accessing things. Now, I'm really, really sorry about that, because that was not supposed to happen. And so that's why I sent you the contact of Mr. Arga this morning, because he told me to do so. If any of you still have specific problems with accessing anything, please just contact him straight away, since he's the one who really knows how to deal with this. Some of you didn't have all the material appear. That will be fixed this morning. So hopefully by afternoon, when you access TD Smart, you are supposed to already see Bahasa Inggris Lintas, and that is mentioned with Lintas, not peminatan, Bahasa Inggris Lintas. And you should see that as a separate folder, and then when you open the folder, you should see around 10 announcements, like what I sent you at the beginning of the school year. Remember, I sent you a whole list with codes back then. There were like around 10 or 11 things that I uploaded for material, and all those you should see in the folder of Bahasa Inggris Lintas. Okay, if that still not appears by tomorrow, let's say if tomorrow you access it tomorrow morning and it still doesn't appear, please contact Mr. Arga straight away, or let's say later tonight, because he is reorganizing that so all of that appears correctly as it is supposed to. Yeah. So you're supposed to have everything, and if you doubt which one it is, you can just go to the WhatsApp group and scroll up. There you see a whole list that I posted already to you like a month ago, with all the codes. Now those are the old codes, you can't reuse those codes, but at least you have the list of what should be there. And it's basically the link for the ebooks, reading and writing, listening and speaking. And there is like the journal template for narrative, the journal template for essay, and the logs template that you have to use. And then there are the rubrics for the journal, rubric for the log, the PDF for the MLA, how you have to do your bibliography is in there, a PPT is in there. So there's several things that you need to access, but that is not homework or tests. No, that is just material. That's why you also have to go to the section of materi bahan. Okay. If it comes to uploading, you don't upload anything on TD Smart, because you do everything within a Google form, and a Google form is submitted. It means also that none of you can give a video to me or an audio through WhatsApp. It will not be graded. Everything has to be uploaded in a form. You have to understand that a form has a limit for MB. So if, for example, your file is too big, then you can't upload it. Try to compress it. Go online and compress your file. Yeah. Also, for now, there is no video upload. Only for the speaking test is a video, but for the activities that are in your ebook, there is no video required. It's only audio. Okay. Now, so looking at this week, the 10th of August to the 14th of August. So our Zoom meeting right now is listening to, and you will have post-test 1 today. I had people ask me about post-test 1. Well, a post-test is always done actually during a class. So, and we don't do that during Zoom meeting, means that you do it after the Zoom meeting. A post-test and a unit test will always be done on the day of your Zoom meeting, okay? Class time. So this week you will have to focus on outlining your speaking test for your log, and you can access your log to see the outline. Then meaning that you have to have already opened the link of your log and downloaded it to Word, converted it to Google Docs, the whole thing I said to you already before. If you're still confused on how to do that, just go to YouTube, go to Media, Tunas Daud, go to playlist SMA, and look for my Zoom meeting. All my Zoom meetings have a blue thumbnail. They're all the same thumbnail. So with the computer, with the faces in the computer screen, the blue one, that's all the Zoom meetings that I have, and the ones that are yellowish or creamish, those are the material videos. Now, go to the Zoom meeting that has the title Unit Overview. In the Unit Overview, it explains everything about your, go to grade 11, it explains everything about what this unit holds. So it explains about your speaking test, your writing, your speaking test, yeah, your log, your journal, everything is in there. So just access that, watch it all over again, and you will remember, okay? So guys, please be active in figuring things out. Every lesson is in YouTube. You can just rewatch it to know again, okay? Cool. So outlining for your log, and then after this Zoom meeting, you will have a post-test. For your post-study, we will focus on listening to. Remember, post-study is ebook, pre-study is textbook. Post-study always comes after our Zoom meeting and is about our Zoom meeting. Pre-study is the preparation of self-study for the next Zoom meeting to come. So automatically your post-study will be listening to all the activities of listening to, which are in your ebook for listening and speaking. If there is any problem with your audio, it supposedly should have no problem. I've had sometimes students contact me, Miss, the audio doesn't play. Miss, I can't access it. Many times you guys access files that I haven't opened yet because it's not the file you're supposed to do. Or the audio doesn't play, for example, and most of the time the problem is because most of you do not close your tabs either on your laptop or your phone. You gotta make sure that all the tabs in your Chrome are closed. Also, please, people, clear history. Clear history in your phone, clean your history on your laptop. Because if you don't clean it, then your device cannot load it. Okay, so that is super important. Remember that. That is mostly the reason why a Google form doesn't want to open or an audio doesn't want to open. Okay, now, still, if you've done all that and it's hard, you can contact me or you can go straight to Mr. Arda. So our focus for post-study is the ebook, yeah, listening to, and our pre-study will be reading to, textbook activities, reading and writing. So please do this. Keep following the schedule, because if you don't, you will have a problem. In the week of the 7th of September, you will have to give me your journal and your log and your ebooks both. If you don't do anything now, it is not that much, but you might feel overwhelmed. So I already gave you a pacing guide, this is a pacing guide, so follow it and it's easy. Just a quick note for the reading, it's not always one, two activities or 3 or 4. Sometimes it's just only one activity. Sometimes it's just 2 or 3. Yeah, so just follow your ebook. In your ebook, it's all clear. You will see how it paces. Okay, awesome. Now let's continue with where we left off. Listening to. So we're gonna go to page 9 together today, right now. Yeah, listening to, where does genius come from? Okay, the first one, you had to read the words aloud and discuss the meaning, check the dictionary if necessary. So we have achievements, interact, myth, trait, and verses. Now, can any of you tell me what achievement is? What does that mean?
An accomplishment.
William, what's up?
An accomplishment.
Yes, very good, thank you. An accomplishment. That can be in any way, guys. Achievements in education, in school, hobbies. We have achievements of all sorts. Right, awesome. Interact, someone else who would want to respond to interact. Interact. I'm gonna look at my list of beautiful names. Joseph?
Communicate.
Yeah, awesome. Do you think communicating like how? Can you expand a little bit on that?
Interact is
Yeah, well,
communicating.
okay.
What?
That's good. That's good. Thank you, Joseph. Awesome. Interacting is communicating, and interacting can be in different ways, yeah, guys. It can be just plainly using language and talking, but it can also be sign language. You know, you can interact while just, you know, with expressions. There's a whole lot of ways how you can interact. Awesome. Okay, C, myth. What about myth, guys? Do I need to remind you that you can access things through your search engine? I mean, like, that's the cool thing. And even when you were in class, you were allowed to do that as well. I'm not asking you to remember and know everything. The only thing I would like to see from you is the effort to try and the effort to look things up. Yeah, what I want you to do is be smart at looking things up. Yeah, it's impossible to remember and know everything. Would like to try it. Myth, what's that?
False belief or idea.
Yes. Would you know the difference between we have a myth and a legend, right?
A legend.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is the difference? Do you know?
Wait. Legend and myth.
Yeah. Legend versus myth.
I don't know.
No worries. Anyone else? Anyone else? William?
A, a legend. Wait, hold on. A legend contains some facts that can become exaggerated at the point that real people or events that take larger than life quality. In contrast, a myth isn't based on facts. So the difference is a legend is more factual wise, and like a myth is more into like the story, the fantasy of like thinking our imagination as it's.
Yeah. Very well said. Thank you. Yeah, myths basically come forward because way back people didn't have all the scientific facts. Yeah, not having done all the researches. So people wanted to know things about life and about the world and make sense of the world that they lived in. So they came up with myths, with stories to make sense of it all. Whereas legends, yes, correct, that is based on a certain fact. But because it is told story after story, often it becomes like a bit of an exaggerated story. Not all of it is 100% correct, but based on a certain fact. What about trade? Does anyone know? Trade. What's a trade?
Characteristic.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah, it can be. It's a characteristic. A trait can be in work, can be in many fields. Yeah. Versus, what does that mean?
Against.
What do you mean?
Against.
Okay, yeah. So can be versus can be an opposite then, yeah? Against something, an opposite of something. Awesome. Yeah, correct. Cool. Okay. Now we got to the point where you have to complete the report with the words from exercise 1. So we're looking at the words achievements, interact, myth, trait, and versus. So looking at this vocabulary and placing it in the correct spot. Okay, let's try to do that one. I'd like someone to start with that. Who would like to start read the first sentence up till number 1? Okay, let me see. Okay, William?
Um, how do we become who we are? Where do intelligence and talent come from? Scientists have been fascinated by this question ever since Francis Galton proposed the idea of Nature versus nurture.
Awesome.
150
Yes,
years ago. Yeah.
very good. Thank you. Okay, who else would like to continue? Who raised his hand just now? No?
I'm sorry, I
Okay.
accidentally pressed it. Sorry.
No, okay, thanks. No worries. Samuel, are you here? Samuel? Samuel? Samuel Rion. Okay. Now, Gilbert, can you try it?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Can you continue reading it up till number 2?
Uh, from his idea, to miss.
Yes.
His idea was that people's trait could be explained either genus known as G or their environment known as E. Hello?
Yes. What was the word you mentioned just now?
Trait.
The word is achievements. His idea was that people's achievements could be explained, things that people achieved in life. Thank you. Okay, so it is achievements. Yes, people? His idea was that people's achievements could be explained either by their genes, known as G, or their environment, known as E. However, scientists today say that nature and nurture are not opposing forces. In fact, they say that the idea of nature or nurture is a... All right. And what is that? Who would like to try this one?
Myth.
Yeah? Cool. Yeah, is a myth after all. Awesome. Thank you. Next, who would like to continue the sentence after all? Start from after all. Let me hear it from Nicole. Nicole? Oh, wait, I have Chris.
Yeah, miss.
Okay, Chris, you'll go later. Nicole, you answer first. Start reading from after all.
After all, our characteristics are not determined when we are born. For example, we can develop our particular trait such as confidence or optimism.
Yeah, very good. Trait, particular trait. Oh, this word determined. Yeah, after all, our characteristics are not determined. Mostly the pronunciation falls on the second syllable, determined. Thank you. Awesome. Chris, can you do the last one?
We can learn to have resilience, that is, the ability to deal with difficulties. The abilities we inherit at birth can grow and develop as we interact with other people in our environment.
Yep, very good. Thank you. So we've got myth, trait, and interact. Yeah, any questions so far about the vocabulary, guys? No? Okay. Then we continue. Okay, that brings us to the comprehension of the listening. So yeah, very important, listening, practicing all the time. Now, and one of the most important things for listening is that you do annotate every keyword. So the instruction, the question, if there are the answer choices, always annotate the keywords, because it is impossible for you to listen and read the question and the answer choices and answer all of that at the same time. So what you do is you go over the questions, the instructions, the answer choices, whatever is there. You underline, circle, highlight it, margin notes, whatsoever. And then while you're listening, you're just listening and focusing only on those key points. So you were supposed to listen to writer David Schenk, who talks about his book, The Genius in All of Us, New Insights into Genetics, Talent, and IQ. Now, here, Schenk says that genius is an amorphous term, meaning that it is difficult to define. Instead, he mentions various things that people do to achieve success. you were supposed to check 3 things that he mentions. Now, I'd like to know what the 3 things are. Who would like to try that one?
Me.
Okay, cool, Joseph.
The 3 things he mentions, I think, are doing your best, doing what you love to do, and having intensity and resilience.
Yep, correct. Very good. Definitely those 3, doing your best. So A, D, and E. Awesome. Yeah. Now, what about activity 2? Shank discusses nature and nurture. So you were supposed to check the theory he believes is correct. Now, in the video also, I mentioned that, and last week in a Zoom meeting, I think I also mentioned it, what is important that you understand the difference between a main idea, main point, and a detail. Okay, we have a general main idea, we have a sub-main idea. A general main idea is the main idea in one sentence that covers the whole text. That is reflected through the title and is always found in the thesis statement, which is the last sentence in the introductory paragraph. Yeah? The sub-main idea is just a smaller main idea. That is reflected through a subheading or a header, if the text has that, and always found in every topic sentence of every body paragraph, which is the first sentence. Okay? So a sub-main idea would cover the main idea in one sentence that covers one body paragraph, not the whole text, but just one body paragraph. So main idea is always like garis besar, yeah, a general idea. But the main point is a bit smaller. The main points are those points that develop the main idea. Then what develops the main point? Those are the details. The details are smaller, are even more specific, and the details are the points that develop the main points. Main points are the points that develop the main idea. Now, in this case, you're looking still at main ideas or sub-main ideas. So what is it that he discusses about nature and nurture, and which are the theories that he believes are correct? So you had to tick one. Choose one. Who could answer that one? Anyone? Angeline? Angel?
My answer is C. Nurture times nature times nurture.
Awesome. That's correct. Very well. Now, that's good. So how can we find that, Miss Sylvie? That's hard. Yeah, that's what you do is you have to, in this case, go over A, B, and C and underline the keywords, and then listen to the audio and try to hear those keywords. And even if they don't use the exact same word, you have to listen for a word that has a similar meaning, yeah? And then you can see what is connected. So you gotta do annotating, otherwise it's too hard for listening to follow. Any questions? Okay, then we go to number 3. What is that one? Number 3, also 1. Who'd like to try? Or I ask Carmel. Carmel, are you here?
Yes, miss.
Hi, good morning.
Morning too.
Can you try?
My answer is C. It is less important than a person's natural talent.
Okay, thank you, Carmel. Actually, the answer is A. He mentions that it complements innate abilities. That's basically actually what he stated. A. Thank you for trying and for answering the question. Do you guys have any questions about this? Remember that when you're looking for an idea, it is a broader idea. Means that you have to go to an introduction and to the topic sentences. Okay, when you're looking for details and specific facts, that is where you have to scan the text and go through places, you know, like in the middle of a paragraph. But if we're talking about ideas, mostly we go to the introduction and the topic sentences like that. And remember to annotate to find how it is connected. Does that make sense, guys, or does anyone still want to ask? Hearing this silence, I can think that it's okay, or is there anyone who wants to respond?
It's okay.
Okay, cool. Or maybe it's still early, everybody's still sleepy, maybe, I don't know. Okay, that brought us to the listening for emphasis. Who can tell me what emphasis means? Joseph?
Penekanan bahasa Indonesianya.
Yeah, very good. So would anyone be able to tell me why we would have to use emphasis? Why is that even important in a language? Like why do you use that?
Because it resembles like how important something is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the price of something. Like an example sentence. They placed the great emphasis on an individual's freedom. So they made individual freedom as like a standard high point for like everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very good explained. Thank you, William. Yeah, so emphasis are important. Yeah, so emphasis is when you point out a certain keyword. Yeah, emphasize means like what was said just now. What is it? Menekankan, yeah. You're pointing out a certain keyword, meaning that you're pointing out a word, a meaning that is very important. Yeah. Now, emphasis bring a certain deeper meaning, but can also emphasize emotion. So an emphasis can point out meaning, but can also point out how strong an emotion or an underlying thought is. So emphasis are important. If I would say, for example, I'm happy, okay, I'm happy. But if I say, I am happy, then I emphasize on the word happy, which shows a far stronger emotion of how I feel rather than me just saying, I'm happy. If you give me a gift and I say, oh, I'm happy, then you would think I'm, yeah, so. But if I would say, man, I'm so happy, then you would go like, okay, she really is happy. I get the point. So emphasis are important in a language, definitely. Yeah, so it's mostly to point out important ideas. And you can slow down with your voice. You can speak louder, clearly, or sometimes we pause. Yeah. Okay, so you had to figure out here, listening to the excerpts and hearing each comment by Shank, which part of the sentence A or B had the emphasis. Who would like to try excerpt 1? Anyone like to try? Okay, let's listen to Alan. Alan Chandra.
Yes, miss.
Good morning. Can you do excerpt 1? Which one is it? Which one shows emphasis by speaking loudly and clearly?
A, miss.
Yeah.
Is it 50% nature?
Yeah, correct. If you listened to the audio, you could definitely hear the emphasis lie on A, not on B. Yeah. What about excerpt 2? I want to ask Aaron. Aaron, can you answer excerpt 2?
A as well.
Yeah. How did you get that? I mean, like, how did you get that answer?
By listening to audio.
Did you clearly hear the emphasis, or was it hard?
Not exactly, but a little bit.
But you could differentiate it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Do you guys understand this point? Is there any question on that? So either the voice becomes louder or more clear. Maybe the speaker speaks a bit slower. Maybe the speaker will pause. And sometimes they do like, and they pause and say, okay, and this is important. So then the emphasis is on this. Something else that is more important will come up. So emphasis are important to pay notice to when you're listening. It directs to what is coming and what is important to listen to or to take notes on. Yeah. Also, it gives you an underlying meaning or communicates strong emotion. Awesome. Okay, that brings us to the next part. We had to connect the listenings, and by connecting the listenings, what we're basically doing is this needs you to do a higher order thinking skills. Means that when you're synthesizing, you're using multiple sources, combining them together in order to create something new. Now that can be sources that you look up through a search engine and that you then use. Let's say you have 2 or 3 or 4 sources, and then you use information from all sources, and then you use those sources in order to write an essay, a summary, or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, in this case, we're doing it for listening and speaking. So you're using the information from listening 1, the audio from listening 1, and the audio from listening 2. And the information is gathered together in step 1, organizing it. And then in step 2, when you do synthesizing, it can be made into an interview, discussion, and whatever it is that shows a new product, which is based on the information of multiple sources. So here you had to, where did you hear these statements? So we're looking at listening 1, the music in my head, and listening 2, which was where does genius come from? And here you have 8 statements, and you have to check the correct box. I'd like you to tell me where you heard that statement. Let's say, for example, number 1, we've been living with this myth for about 150 years. Did you hear that in listening 1 or in listening 2? Beyond, oh, yeah? Hello?
Listening to.
Listening to, Joseph, yeah. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, this one is definitely in listening to. And what about number 2? Anyone else would like to answer, or should I pick a name?
Listening to.
Listening to. Okay, I'm gonna ask some people right now. What about Nessa? Nessa, can you answer 3?
Yes, miss.
Can you read the sentence and then tell me which to take?
He doesn't know where the music comes from, but it comes fully written, playing like an orchestra in his head. Listening 1, the music in my head.
Yep, correct. Awesome. Talia, can you do number 4? Talia?
Yes, miss.
Hi, can you do number 4? Read the
Miss,
sentence.
It's like my unconscious mind is giving others at the speed of light.
1 or 2?
1.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Okay, we go to someone else. Stephanie, Angelica. Stephanie.
Number 5, right?
Yep.
You just absolutely cannot separate the effects of genes from the effects of the environment. Listening 2.
Yo, good. Hey, you're Steffi, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay, I was confused. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's try Joy. Joy, are you here? Can you do number 6? Joy, Tabitha Joy? What about Teresia?
Okay, number 6.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because neither of us has anything to do with string instrument, and I didn't expect him to know what a cello was. Is listening one?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Awesome. Number 7. Eric.
Yes,
Hi, Eric. Can you do number 7?
read the sentence first.
Yes.
All we can do, of course, is to identify the resources that we have in our environments and maximize them as best we can.
Mhm.
And the sentence is from listening to.
Awesome. Thank you. Environment. Yeah. Identify an environment. Very good, Eric. Thank you. Number 8, I'd like to ask Amy. Amy, are you here? No, Amy. Okay. Then we go to Amanda.
Yes, Miss.
Hi, Amanda. Good morning. Can you do number 8?
Yeah. I started playing on it, and I was like, how do you know how to do this? The music in my head.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so these are definitely the answers. So how would you know this again? Again, you would have to annotate, look at the keywords, and then listen and scan through it. For those who have a hard time for listening, note that the audio is printed out at the back of your textbook. So if that helps, you could read along while you're listening. Of course, it's better if you can just do the listening itself without looking, but some of you have a really hard time, so you could take a look at the back. Okay, that brings us to number 2. You would have to circle the statements. Okay, by the way, from out of these 8 statements, like how many mistakes you've got? If you, for example, have a 1, 2, 3 mistakes, it's still maybe a misunderstanding. But if you have like 4 or more mistakes, maybe you really have to practice more concerning keywording, yeah? Because basically in listening, keywording is the one key. Super important for you is to do the keywording when you listen to someone speak. Yeah. So my advice is, if you had like 4 or more mistakes, that you practice more in annotating keywording, finding keywords, and trying also to take notes. Yeah, when you're listening, and trying to find or hear the keywords that you have underlined. Yeah. Any questions, guys, on that? No? Okay, then we continue with activity 2. Circle the statements that sum up the attitude of these people from listening 1 and 2. What is their attitude? Jane Greenberg's mother. Who would like to answer?
B.
Yeah. How do I do this? This is funny. I'm trying to make a circle and I don't know how to do it. Wait.
From the left corner, drag it down to the right bottom corner.
Ah. How do you do it?
From the left top corner,
yeah.
Drag it down to the right bottom corner.
Oh, yeah, that's how you do it. Oh, you're so cool. Awesome. Look. Okay. William, thank you. I got it now. Interesting. And yes, Jay was simply born with his talent. That's what she said, right? Okay, what about David Chang? I'd like to hear from, let me take a pic. Down. Dian. Are you here? Dian?
Yes, Miss.
Hi, Dian. Can you do number 2?
I kind of confused with the answer.
Yeah, which
I kind of confused with the answer because I haven't checked about this listening thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you for being honest. I'll ask someone else then. Fiona?
pakai Smas lah.
Fiona?
Yes, Miss. Yes,
Hi,
Miss.
can you answer number 2?
David Chang, A.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so he is a person's natural talents are affected by the environment. Both of them working together create a genius. Awesome. Yeah. And any questions on this? So this is basically how we are in activity 1 and 2. We have actually just gathered information from listening 1 and 2. And in step 2, let's just take a look at it. Not everything we can do because some of it needs the cooperation of people at hand. Here you were supposed to work with a partner, and then Jane Greenberg has a younger brother, Michael, who is not a prodigy or a musician. So you were supposed to role play a meeting with Jay's mother and David Shank, in which you discussed these questions. So where did Jay's talent come from, and why is Michael not a musical prodigy? Now, so this is what I mean. You, in step 1, organized information from listening 1 and listening 2. And then having gotten all that information, you could have used that information in order to create a role play. And that is what synthesizing is like. So first you come up, the research mostly is called research, when you get sources and information. And then once you got all that information, then you create that into something new. In this case, would have been a role play, and that is called synthesizing. So what you create is based on the information that you got. Now, I'm just gonna randomly ask you guys, where did Jay's talent come from? Who can tell me that? Christian, can you answer that for me? Christian, Jeremia. Are you here, Christian? Okay, let me ask Icha. Oh, you're here, Christian? Okay, can you answer that?
Number.
Where did Jay's talent come from? That's one. Number 1.
Oh, yang itu belum jawab saya, Miss.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to try? Jonathan Vincent.
Yes, Miss.
Where did Jay's oh, you can do that? Oh no, you cannot. Where did Jay's talent come from?
It was born with him.
Ah, he was born with it. It didn't come from anywhere. He was just born with it. Exactly. What about number 2 though? Why is Michael not a musical prodigy? Like, he's different from his brother. What about Andreas? Good morning, Andreas. Rafael?
Yes, Miss.
Hi, can you answer that one?
Number 2, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Give me a second. Wait, is Michael from the listening 1 or listening 2? I kind of forgot.
From the same one as Jay's. It's 1.
I think I'm not sure of the answer.
Okay. Now, basically, not everybody is a prodigy. You can have like an older brother who is a prodigy and then a younger brother who is not, right? So that is also genes, right? It doesn't mean that if an older brother or sister has a certain talent, that the rest of the siblings also have the same talent. So if Jay was born with the talent, doesn't mean that another brother would have the same talent, right? Because that is genetics, yes? Okay. Now, do you guys have any questions about the material that we talked about?
I asked about number 2, David Shank.
Mm-hmm.
What was the answer again? I wasn't really paying attention. Sorry.
Oh, for the synthesizing?
Yes.
You
No, no,
basic.
no, not the synthesize. The circle, the statement part on page.
Oh, Shank discusses nature and nurture, you mean?
Yes,
That was C.
that was C. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, wait a second. Sorry. No. I'm looking at the wrong part. David Shank, number 2 is A. Sorry. A. A person's natural talents are affected by the environment.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So basically, in synthesizing, it would have been Jay's mother speaking and David Shank speaking. So, yeah. Well, to sum up what we did today, we focused on our vocabulary as in the definition and context of a paragraph, and then we did comprehension. I pointed out to you guys that it is super important that you annotate because otherwise it's very hard for you to follow an audio, but also for you to find out in order to be able to answer questions, yes, or complete paragraphs, you need to keywords. Okay, and if you're looking at something that resembles a general main idea or sub main idea, look at the introductory paragraph, the thesis statement. For the general main idea, look at a topic sentence for a sub main idea, and know that that is different from a main point. A main idea is broader. It covers either the whole text or one paragraph, whereas main points, we have several main points in every body paragraph, which are developed by the usage of details, which are very specific facts. Okay. Listening for emphasis, we talked about. Remember to know that the emphasis are used to further explain something, give deeper understanding, underlying meaning, express deeper emotions. We do that by pausing, speaking faster, speaking slower, intonation, voices go up, go down. There's a lot of different ways how we express emphasis in speaking. And synthesizing is the usage of multiple sources, which then are used in order to create something new. Okay, guys, that brings us to basically to the end of today's Zoom meeting. And what I would like to ask you is, are you set with everything also regarding your projects?
I have some questions.
Yeah. Which are
about the schedule for the unit schedules. I saw the stabilo part, the
yeah.
one I did. That one said log and journal, right?
Yeah.
So we should start right now with the log and journal.
Yeah. Let me open it so it's easier to look at it together. Yeah, the stabilo parts here, actually the reason why I make it yellow is so it stands out from the rest. The yellow parts are your project planning. Yeah, so this column shows your pre-study and post-study planning. The middle part shows your Zoom meeting planning, and the yellow ones are your project plannings. Yeah, you should have started actually on the 20th of July. Okay. So yeah, but you know, like this is how I plan it for you. If you have a different plan, that is up to you. I'm just giving you an example of a plan, and if you follow this, it's great. But if you do it differently, that would not be a problem. But basically, if we're looking at this date now, this week, you should be around outlining.
Okay, so log is basically like a report, right? The report
yes.
of what we learn, and journal is what explaining what we learned.
Basically, your log is connected to your speaking test. So your speaking test must be reported in the log. Your writing project is in the journal. That's how you have to look at it. So because it is a project, it has preparation, right? It has steps. Now, so the speaking project, which is your speaking test, that project, those steps have to be recorded in the log. Now, the steps of your writing process, in order for you to create an essay, those steps are recorded in the journal.
Okay, so I'm looking at the log file right now. And I'm really confused about step 4, the outlining for the log. Yeah, the outlining, what does it mean by outlining? Like, as in, we already get like all the what is it called? The speaking outlines, the brainstorming part, and other like what else should be outlined?
Yeah. Okay, let me open that. Yeah. What you outline, basically, you're talking about the journal or the log? Which one? Sorry.
The log.
Oh yeah, the speaking log. So you're outlining. That is the outline for your speaking test. I'm gonna open it right now. Let me see, grade 11. Okay, it loads a bit long, so give me a second to fix that. Okay, I'm going to. Okay, I'll share the screen now. Okay, here we are. So English log, it's still loading. Yeah, so that's why it starts with the speaking genre, which is factual presentation, and then your task is you have to give a factual presentation, right? Brainstorming, you can change the outline if you would want to, the brainstorm if you would want to. Now here in the outline, this part you can just erase. I just put this in for a reminder for you, but you can't erase that one, the same as the one in the conclusion, okay? This part at the left side, you cannot erase, you have to leave it. So your outline, actually you should know this already because you did this already last year in grade 10, yeah? This is your speaking outline. So you can only give a presentation with an outline. You have to have already prepared your outline before you speak. So this is the outline that you make, and this is also the outline that you look at while you're doing your presentation, because you won't memorize everything and you can't read, right? You can't read, you won't memorize. So you need something that helps you to pace through your presentation. So basically what you write here are just words and phrases, make it short, not long sentences, not paragraphs, only phrases and clauses, very short, to know what you will say for the hook, overview, topic and objective, and then for the first point, and then the details you want to put in, and all the points and details, because the bullet points are the details, right? And then for your ending, you come up with a summary conclusion. Now you give a recommendation, is maybe an advice that you give, what should be done, what should not be done, what should be thought of, what should not be forgotten. And you give a quick takeaway to end your presentation. So it's important that you make this outline and also use this outline while you speak. Does that make sense?
Oh, so the step 4 is basically typing down all, like, you see, like everything, all of this, like all of the speaking outline.
I don't get your question.
So you said earlier about like so we're gonna have a speaking test, right? At the end of the year, probably.
No, that's the beginning of September.
Oh yeah, the beginning of September, sorry. And then for the speaking outline, for the speaking test, we can't look at like our papers, whatever, like that. And so this is like a guide that helps us, right?
Yes.
So step 4, outlining, means that we're basically setting everything up in the speaking outline. Like we're typing everything down and like that.
Yeah. Exactly like that. So later on, when you do your speaking test, when you record it, you can just follow this outline.
Oh, okay.
And so when I am watching your video, I will also open your outline and see whether you in your speaking are following this outline.
Oh, okay.
So every speaking, every presentation, every speech, every essay has to be prepared beforehand. You always have to make an outline. Otherwise, your writing and your speaking will be messed up. Now, and yeah, as you said, when you speak, you cannot memorize. You won't memorize. It's too much, right? You will make mistakes. You cannot read. So what you do is you just look at your outline. And even so, before you really present something, you would have to know how you prepared it. You need to, make a clear scaffold of where you put your ideas. That's why this is important. Now, for the link of your video, you place the link here. Yeah, so put your video in your drive, in your Google Drive, then get the shareable link and place the link here. And the bibliography, you have to use the MLA system. I already gave you the PDF file for MLA. Just download it, and then you look at it, how you have to write it here. If you use a website or a book, a journal, it's all different how you place it. Look it up. You learned that also last year already, yeah? And then here, the reflection you have to fill out. This is my part. You can give a comment if you want. You have to fill this out, okay? Any more questions?
I think that's it for me. I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Miss, may I ask a question?
Yes.
For the sources, are we allowed to use EasyBid for the MLA?
Are we?
Or SciFast?
Sorry, repeat that. Are we allowed to use what?
SciFast or EasyBid to make the MLA?
Yeah.
It's like our website.
Yeah. As long as it follows the MLA system, I'm cool.
All right.
Yep. But it has to have MLA system. So meaning that it has a way on how to put the names. The last name first, and then the initials, and then the date, and then the link. There's a way on how to do that. And I want you to try that, because that's what you will have to do in Unique all the time. And there are different, you have MLA, you have APA, you have Harvard, you have many different ones. I just want you to try MLA. MLA is mostly used for high school. Whatever website you use for it, I'm cool with it, as long as it's is in here with an MLA style, I'm cool. Does that answer your question? I assume it does. Anyone else?
I want to ask something, Miss.
Yeah.
For the video, we record our face only, or we record the PPT, but we put our voice into the video?
Okay, that's a very good question. No, you have to record yourself. I want to see you, I want to hear you, and I want to see your visual.
Oh, so
yeah.
PowerPoint is not necessary, right?
No, it is necessary, because in a presentation you have to use PowerPoint, right? So you don't present without any visuals. So it's smarter to use PowerPoint or use Google Slides. Whatever you want to use is fine, but you got to come up with something that shows it, and you should be in it. So you can do it in any way how you want to do it. It's up to you. I mean, like there are many ways, like how you can make videos, you know, like you can also make a video that you just have to edit it a bit, and then where you have yourself on it fully or half body, and which then goes to transfers to a slide, and then I hear your voice, and then I see you again. That is okay if there is an on and off in that, as long as I get to see you as well. Okay. Or you do it like tutorial style, that is also okay, where you have like a box of yourself in it, but make sure that the box is big enough and clear enough that I can see you.
Yep. Okay, Miss, thank you.
I give you the freedom on how you want to do that, as long as I get to see you.
Okay, last one to recap everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the journal, the writing one for the essay, that's basically our writing part. Like the log is for presentation, and the journal is for like, it's basically our paper. The journal is our paper, and like the log is our speaking, like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so okay. All right. I think it's awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. If we're looking, for example, at let me give you, it's very similar. If you look at the journal and your log, there's not much of a difference. The only difference is journal, writing, log, speaking. Just remember that. Same as last year. Yeah. So journaling is mostly writing. Yeah. So in this case, it is very similar to your speaking. So you can use the same topic that you're using for your speaking. You can use also in your writing. So you can also use the same sources in your bibliography. So you don't have to do the research twice. And so, yeah, the brainstorming, same thing, same steps, yeah. And then you have your outline, though the outline is different because an outline in the beginning here is only HOT, yeah, hook, overview, thesis statement. And then topic, sentence, main point, detail, main point, detail, main point, detail. You can have 3, 4, 5, up to you. And then you go to the and then you go, oh, you guys are only writing 3 paragraphs. So you're only gonna have 1 body paragraph, meaning that this can be deleted because you're only doing 3. Does that make sense, guys? Hello, hello?
So we can put main point in journal into log too?
Repeat?
So we can put, for example, this is there is topic sentence, main point, 1, 2, and details, right?
Yeah.
If we put the main point and details only into the log, we can do it. We can make the log with putting main point and details too, right?
Yeah, in the log there's also, right? I showed you that just now. But the difference is in a speaking test or a speaking outline, you don't use a topic sentence. It's mostly what you use is mostly just a transition. You make a transition from the introduction to the body, and then when you're done with all the points in the body, you make a transition to the ending of your presentation. But in an essay, that is different. In an essay, you have different body paragraphs. So here you make a clear introduction. And since your essay is only consisting of 3 paragraphs, so you basically can delete this part, just leave it empty. Don't delete the table, just leave it empty, just take away the words. And then it ends up like this, like 3. So introduction, 1 body paragraph, and 1 conclusion. Yeah?
I
Because
have
if you look at the instructions that I gave you in your ebook, your instructions clearly state that you only have to do 3 paragraphs. If you end up, you want to make 4 paragraphs, that is okay for me. Nggak masalah. If you say, Miss Sylvia, I did 4. So I did 2 body paragraphs. That's totally cool. But make sure that your outline is exactly the same as your essay. Because if your outline has 4 and your essay has 3, or your outline has 3 and your essay has 4, I will minus 10 points because it has to be the same. Your outline and your essay have to be the same.
Okay.
And if, for example, you want to do 3, guys, then just delete this information. Leave the column here, just the row here, just empty. Because next in unit 2, you will have to write 4. Then you will have to put this information back into this column. So just leave the column empty, and then later on you can fill it up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Awesome. Anyone else? So good you guys ask. I'm happy. Okay, there were some who asked about this. So remember, summary or conclusion, give a recommendation because you did a research. So you might have a recommendation of what should be done, should not be done, any advice, anything you want to state. And then the T is the takeaway, the final thought to end your writing. You can just Google it. Like, what is a good final thought? What is a good takeaway? Google it, look it up, you know, like be active in searching things. Here you place your essay. Remember, a title, indent every paragraph. And again, your bibliography, MLA style. And then you do your reflection here. You can give a comment. You don't have to, but you can. And I will place the score here. Okay? Are we cool? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for answering. Okay, then in that case, I'm going to end our meeting. I already opened your post-test. So if you have another class coming up real fast, then don't do the post-test yet. Continue with your other lesson first. And when you're done with your lessons, then do your post-test. The post-test has to be done today by 11 tonight. Okay, 11 p.m. Because it is a part of your class time today. That's why the post-test is today and has to be finished today. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. God bless you. Yeah, stay excited. And any questions, you know where to find me. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Bye-bye.